Wow. Wow. Welcome, friends. Nothing says home like home cooked Jamaican food. That's why today we're making brown stew tofu. One bite of this takes me right back to mom making this growing up. Brown stew is a rich and flavorful dish where in this recipe, tofu is simmered in a rich caramelized sauce that's made from a base of browning that I'm going to show you how to make. It's only two ingredients, sugar and water. So much better than the store-bought versions, and you're going to absolutely devour this dish. All the other seasonings that you need for this recipe are easily available, so let's get right into it. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's get right into our ingredients. We're gonna need a quarter cup of vegetable stock. I love this better than bouillon vegetable base. It's amazing. We're gonna be using half of a large yellow onion, which will be about 3/4 of a cup once we finish dicing it. 3 garlic cloves, and we're gonna mince that. Half a teaspoon of sea salt, half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, 3 scallion stalks, which will be about half a cup diced. Half to 1 whole Scotch bonnet pepper, and you can leave the seeds out if you don't want the dish spicy, or leave them in if you definitely want it spicy. 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. I use Marinade so it's gluten-free, but you can also use gluten-free soy sauce. You can use a low sodium gluten-free soy sauce, a low sodium soy sauce, or just regular like great quality soy sauce as well. It's really up to you and your preferences here. We're gonna need 2 tablespoons of browning, and I make mine from scratch. I'm gonna show you how to make it in this recipe. It's actually really easy to make, and I tend to make mine really thick. So when I say 2 tablespoons, I mean 2 thick tablespoons, or maybe 4 thin tablespoons. 2 teaspoons of fresh minced garlic. That's gonna be really essential for the flavor. I don't recommend subbing powdered or ground ginger here. 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme leaves. That's gonna add a really nice flavor and aroma to the dish as well. Speaking of flavor, we're also going to be using 1 teaspoon of onion powder as well as 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Adding both dried and fresh is going to create some great layers of flavor here. 1 teaspoon of poultry seasoning, 3/4 of a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground allspice or pimento. It's the same thing, and you can freshly ground this or just use powdered. Okay, now veggies for the stew. 1 plummy tomato. We're gonna dice that. We're also gonna dice a 1/4 of a large red bell pepper as well as a 1/4 of a green bell pepper. To be fair, this is more just for color variety. It's okay if you can't get both colors. We're gonna slice 1 long carrot or 2 smaller ones, but about a 1/4 cup of sliced carrots in the end. We're also gonna need some oil for cooking up our tofu as well as sauteing our veggies. Any oil, any neutral oil here works. Believe it or not, ketchup is traditional here. We're gonna use 2 tablespoons. It's gonna help to balance out the whole dish. And last but certainly not least, our tofu. I love using extra firm tofu for this. It gives you more protein and it's also gonna give you the best texture. So we're gonna press our tofu. It's gonna get all of that liquid out, which means our tofu is gonna be a fresh empty vessel to absorb all of our flavor. While our tofu is pressing, we're just gonna go ahead and prep all of our veggies. And I've shared this a couple times, but I just love prepping everything ahead of time. That way you're not scrambling around the kitchen, you don't forget any ingredients, and yeah, you just have everything ready to go. So that's just the first thing I love to do. And it also just helps me to know, oh my gosh, did I leave anything behind or anything like that? So it's also just like an ingredient check as well. By the way, you may see that I am discarding half of the Scotch bonnet pepper. I was only going to do half since my daughter was having it, but it wasn't spicy at all. So I would just leave the whole thing in, of course, removing your seeds since it'd be a bit too spicy with the seeds in, unless you love spice. Okay, so our tofu is finished pressing and you see how much water comes out. So all of that water that's removed is going to give us some great space for our marinade to absorb into the tofu. I just like to cut it like this just to get into nice equal pieces. You can also tear it, but I just figure for brown stew tofu, I like to just do cubed. So I just add over my veggie broth, my seasonings, and it looks like a lot of onions, but they really do kind of just like break down under the sauce, and I promise it all comes together. This recipe has a lot of ingredients, but it's one of those dishes that needs a lot of ingredients because trust me, everything comes together beautifully. And of course, we're going to add our browning. So our browning is actually really easy to make at home. And once you make that home, you're never going to want to buy the store-bought again. You're basically just going to melt your brown or your cane sugar down, and you just want to make sure you are watching this. This is going to be over medium-low heat, not high heat because it burns very easily. You're going to just basically melt it down. It's going to look delicious and caramelized like you're about to make caramel, but you're going to go 1 stage past that basically until you start to see those kind of brown streaks. Then you're going to add some boiling hot water. You do not want to add cold water here. You also want to be careful because as you can see, it's gonna just spurt up a little bit. I like to do 1 cup of sugar to half a cup of water. You can do 1 to 1 as well. It's up to you how thick or thin you want to do it basically. So at this point, you want to make sure the heat is off. You definitely do not want to burn this. And then, yeah, you want to make sure it's still brown and glossy. That is how you know that your browning is perfect. If it's gone, like, kind of dull, if it's just like jet black, it means it's burnt. It's just burnt sugar at that point. Anyways, browning in general does have a slight bitterness to it, and if you're finding that it's too bitter for you, you can always add a little pinch more of sugar and a little pinch of salt. That's really going to balance it out perfectly. A little bit of that goes a really long way. So just want to show you a batch of what I made before just so you can see how thick it gets. But yeah, browning can be used for so many different purposes. This is not a jar that you're going to be wondering what am I going to do with it. You can use it to make patty. You can add it to kind of darken up any like vegan meats that you're making. You can use it in baked dishes as well, like bun or like making Jamaican black cake / fruit cake as well. Also, I know sometimes people ask, can I just use molasses? Molasses is sweet, browning is not sweet. So you do not want to substitute it here at all. You really want to marinate your tofu for at least 30 minutes. I really recommend it, although it's going to make a huge difference.
Very nostalgic, that look exactly like when.
Super sweet that Gab was here when I was making this dish. So we are going to go into the veggies. This is just a veggie portion of our stew. We're just going to dice all of our veggies up. This is really going to bulk up your dish as well. You can definitely throw in some extra veggies if you have them here because they're just all going to stew down really perfectly. But I do not recommend subbing that carrots. It's like an essential to brown stew tofu for me. Alright, now we're going to fry up our tofu and just shake off the excess marinade so your veggies don't burn while we're just trying to wait for that tofu to finish cooking. And since I use a stainless steel pan, your tofu is going to let you know when it's ready. A lot of people say that their tofu is sticking in a pan, and the truth is that it's just not finished cooking on that side yet. So just kind of want to quote unquote listen to your tofu. Then you're going to remove your tofu. Just a reminder, if it's very dark, it is not burnt. That's the browning. Then we're going to add in all of those leftover marinated veggies. They're going to add so much incredible flavor to your dish. And we're going to add in all of our just like veggies for a stew as well. We're going to saute this for about 3 to 5 minutes, basically until all of our ingredients are slightly softened and everything is just really incorporated. Then we're going to go ahead and add back in our tofu or veggie broth. I like to just pour the veggie broth into my marinade bowl just to get any of that excess marinade out as well. This is where we add in our ketchup, and we're also going to add in a little bit extra browning. I do like an extra teaspoon here for an extra just like dash of browning flavor, and we're just going to make sure everything is really stirred together. The ketchup is actually really essential here to kind of balance out quite a lot of savory flavors here. Just kind of add not even any sweetness, just a sugar balance basically. We're going to lower heat to medium low and just partially cover this and let it simmer for about 25 to 30 minutes. That simmering is so essential to make sure all of our flavors really come together beautifully. I definitely want to emphasize that this is a stew. We're not trying to cook this liquid out. We really want to make sure it's nice and stewy. And yeah, you just let this do its magic at this point. Our brown stew tofu is ready. It is absolutely perfect. This taste is going to blow you away. I highly recommend that you give this one a try. Serve it with some rice and peas. That video is coming up very soon as well. You cook up cabbage, some plantain. Trust me, you're going to want to make this one very soon. Alright, my favorite part, and I just add in some more of that gravy on top. One of my favorite parts about this dish is that you can decide how liquidy, how stewy that you want it. Like my husband loves it really stewy, so it's really up to you just how much, how saucy you want it basically. All right. Oh, that tofu looks so good. The veggies, everything looks amazing. Let's give it a bite. Wow. Wow. Every time I taste this brown stew tofu recipe, I am shocked at how deep the flavors are. I mean, this is the definition of why homemade can make a huge difference. That homemade browning takes this over the top. I mean, you are giving this dish the best ingredients it needs to thrive basically, and it really comes through for you. This is my lunch, so don't mind me. Have some of that rice and peas in there as well. I'm gonna go for the carrots this time. Now, the longer that you marinate your tofu, the better the flavors and the deeper the flavors are going to be. So if you only have half an hour, you can do half an hour. I wouldn't recommend less than that, but the hour is really going to take it to the next level. every bite is going to be giving you flavor. And the good news is that the veggies really soak up all of that flavor. So either way, you are in for a treat with this recipe. You can use pretty much any protein or protein source, even something like jackfruit that doesn't necessarily have a lot of protein in there, but it's going to give you a great texture. You can use tempeh, you can use soy curls. I have a vegan chicken recipe on my site. You can even use chickpeas. The truth is that the veggies really help to make this dish shine through alongside your protein. So pretty much anything you use in here with this flavorful sauce, pretty much anything that you use here with this flavorful sauce is going to taste great. I mean, stews are such a deep, rich part of Jamaican history because you get so much flavor for not that much work. You're really just letting the ingredients and the stew work together. And the only ingredient you really need here is thyme. Thyme. T-I-M-E, not thyme, T-H-Y-M-E, which you also need. I hope that you enjoyed this recipe and this video so much. Let me know in the comment section down below if you're gonna make it. We make this all the time. I love it, my husband loves it, my daughter loves it. Even though I didn't think about it before, this is actually a really good budget-friendly recipe as well. You can add even more veggies to stretch the sauce some more. But yeah, the ingredients don't cost a lot, so they're really gonna take you a far way if you're meal prepping this recipe as well. As always, you can find the full ingredients, instructions, more tips and tricks, and this video will be linked as well in the blog post. JessicaInTheKitchen.com is where you can find everything, so be sure to check that out as well. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you get all of my notifications and you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much again for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!